Ashtabula in Lake County. I'm here today at the Greater Ashtabula Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here with Greg Church. Would you like to give me some information on what you do here? I think it's quite a bit.
I'm the executive director,
Yeah.
So I get the privilege of doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah, which is fun. So what are some of those tasks what were you doing this morning?
I mean, anything you can think of. It's kind of like running a small business
Yeah.
in a way, So
Mhm.
everything that goes into keeping the business going, your small tasks of, doing accounting,
Yep.
taking care of communication. But it's a really mobile job.
Yeah.
I'm out in the community at events. We're cutting ribbons. Meeting with new
Like
members.
the ribbon back here, right?
Yeah, that ribbon gets a lot of mileage on it.
That's
It
great.
visits a lot of places throughout the course
Yeah,
of the
that
year.
sounds like fun because it's like you get to do a variety of different tasks. Like you said, you're out in the community, but also doing, the communication. So they're always connected with you, people, in the community. That's great.
Yeah, no 2 days are the same.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, and that keeps it exciting, and it's a fun way to spend your days.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how is the chamber currently supporting businesses, entrepreneurs? How can they do that if people don't know much about what they could do for them?
Yeah, I mean, there's, so everything that we exist to do
Mhm.
is member centric,
Yeah.
so we're trying to serve, we currently have 450 organizations that are members of our chamber.
Mhm.
So we exist to serve them
Yeah.
and to enhance their organization, their business, in any way that we can. So really all of the benefits are with that in mind, so we're trying to of course, keep the traditional benefits that they are used to and continue to enhance those, but always thinking ahead or trying to add something that adds value to their business in some way.
Yeah, because things can change. Like I've recently seen a lot because our paper covers Lake County too. Like them doing things like if it's like a Canvas course that they're giving, their business, because somebody might be like, oh, I never need to use that, and then they realize I need to market my own business because I really maybe right now can't afford to have somebody else do it. So I see chambers really changing, with the times and stuff, which is great, and working a lot together. I've seen that the chambers here in this area, especially too, are like working a lot together because there's so many different townships. I found out with this job in Ashtabula County that you cover, and I've been out in South County a lot when I first started this role, and so many of the people. It's good to hear that you're all like kind of working together.
Absolutely,
which is great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some upcoming events or initiatives, especially like with summer coming around, that you guys are kind of focused on?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a lot of different events that happen through the course of a year.
For sure.
So the one that we're working on currently that is kind of what I consider the highlight of our summer is our golf outing.
Yeah.
So like many nonprofits, we do a golf outing that we really look forward to. People absolutely love it. It has been selling out. We're maximizing the amount of people that get to come out and enjoy the day. So that happens on August 15th. It's a Friday.
So that's nice then.
Yeah. People like the Fridays.
Yep.
We tee off in the morning, and it's just a great way to spend a summer day for a good cause. It's our biggest fundraiser throughout the course of the year, and it's at Maple Ridge Golf Course. We are taking teams and sponsors at this point. But I keep telling people don't hesitate because they do tend to go fast.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, get on that if you're interested. But also I've heard, like, my husband's really good at golf, but I want to like learn more, about it. But he's like, for those, you don't have to be, it's more fun so reminding people you don't have to be like a professional golfer to do those. They're more about being fun and adding to your, your community, like doing something fun for your community too. So
it's a scramble, and that's so if you're not familiar with the scramble, everybody hits a shot and you select the best shot. So you may only have to hit one good shot and yours gets used. It makes you feel better about your game.
Or at least get somebody who's good at golf, like on your team, like one or two people where you're like, okay, and then you can just enjoy yourself through it.
And that's what it's about. It's about having a good time. We crown a champion every year. We've got a traveling trophy, and that part's fun. And it's good to see people being competitive, but overall it's people.
It's just really being fun. And I bet it's probably fun too if like other organizations are a part of it and that competitive, like, fun nature, and they can do stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So how can local residents and businesses really get involved? So with a chamber too, is it just only for is there a way like local people can just get involved if maybe they don't have a business or they might be interested in getting into business is their way, they could maybe get involved as well.
Yeah, I mean, the starting point is membership in one form or
Mm-hmm.
another. So, yeah, people think of that as organizations. We also have what we call a citizen
Oh,
membership.
nice. Okay.
So, that
That's
is
great.
typically for somebody who has interest in the goings on in the community
Mm-hmm.
and they just want to kind of pay attention to that. So, we do a
Yeah.
weekly member news that goes out to all of those
Mm-hmm.
members each week. Yes, we're going to share things in events, kind of like what I was just
Yeah,
talking about
exactly. Yep.
that we do, but we use it as a platform that our other members can share
Mm-hmm.
things that are happening with their
Oh, nice.
organization.
Okay.
So for somebody that wants to feel connected and look for opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
perfect thing to be a citizen
Mm-hmm.
member. And then you may realize, hey, there's a volunteer fair going
Mm-hmm.
on,
Yep.
and I'm looking to volunteer more. Or
Yeah.
maybe you could get involved with volunteering for one of our things. We have citizen
Yeah.
members that
Exactly.
have been board members, that
Mm-hmm.
have served on our committees, that have volunteered at events like the
Yeah,
golf outing
that's
we
really
just
nice.
talked about.
Because that's what I've always wondered, like with me being myself and wanting to be maybe involved in the community, and I'm like, I don't own a business with the but they seem to do a lot, in the
Yeah,
community. So it's good to know there's like, the citizen membership out there and stuff
absolutely.
too, so they can be involved. And with, like I said, with involved in chamber, what could just then the businesses, so if they think to themselves, could the chamber really do for me? Some
Yeah.
businesses might be, I've heard that before, just around like really what can they help give me that I can't just go find myself. So what can you kind of give them
Absolutely.
insight maybe into that?
So there's several different avenues that I feel a chamber membership can do to
Mm-hmm.
enhance and help your
Yeah.
business. Uh, one of them is direct bottom line savings.
Mm-hmm.
So we have several programs through our membership with NOAC, which is the Northern Ohio
Oh,
Area
mm-hmm.
Chambers of
Yep.
Commerce. All of our chambers in this region are members of that
Nice.
organization. And those benefits are made available to all our member
Oh, nice.
organizations.
Okay.
So
So connected.
they could be we've got one that is a health insurance
Mm-hmm.
plan. We've got credit card processing, which can
Okay.
help you save,
Mm-hmm.
which has become a significant expense.
Yeah. Oh, for
As more and
sure.
more people,
Yep.
that's the way they pay. So being able to save there. One that has been really vital is in energy costs.
Oh, yes. I think
So
I've heard of
saving
that.
on
Yep.
electric,
Mm-hmm.
natural gas, enhancing projects, whether it's with LED lighting at your
Mm-hmm.
facility.
Yep.
So there's ways to save on projects that feel big.
Yep.
There is an organization that we work with that can help you achieve grants that are out there.
Yep.
You could do a huge project that costs you almost nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Exactly.
way that their expertise
Mm-hmm.
jumps in. There's things on workers' compensation, shipping. So those are ways that, to me, you can see a direct correlation to your bottom
Mm-hmm.
line.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
then there's going to be all kinds of other things that, yes, they enhance your business. Maybe you
Mm-hmm.
don't see the direct bottom line, but they should be enhancing it just
Yes. Yeah.
naturally.
Exactly.
So networking is one big thing
That's
that
what I was
people
thinking.
look
Yeah,
to
just
chambers
having some
for. Yeah,
community network. If you're not from around this area, maybe you came and started a business, or if you are and you're just kind of trying to meet new people,
right.
in the area who are a part of like local businesses. So
Absolutely.
that's great to hear.
And that is a signature thing that we do. So we have a monthly morning networking.
Mm-hmm.
We do some after hours ones.
Nice.
We're going to have all kinds of different events that have networking
Mm-hmm.
built into them to connect. I kind of like to think of the chamber as the glue
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
between the business community. So
Yep.
you have your largest employers down to your, hey, I'm a one person mom and pop
Yes.
shop.
Yeah. Exactly.
Other nonprofits and organizations are all involved. So we try to be kind of that conduit of information
Yeah. For sure.
between them and give them that chance to connect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can learn from, like you said, so much. Like if someone's been around for a long time, that may not mean they always know the newer stuff that's happening.
Yes.
So someone who's like maybe a little, you could teach like, hey, this is a way that I learned to do this thing. Like I went to
Mm-hmm.
school for this, or like whatever. So that's kind of the cool thing I think about
Yeah.
that is all that connection, and I'm learning from each other. So yeah.
And the other thing that
like
we
that.
see when we do that, so when we do these networking events, we rotate them being at different
Oh,
organizations
yep.
hosting
Locations.
them.
That's nice.
And I can't tell you how many times we go into one of them and many of the people have said, I haven't been to this
Mm-hmm.
organization,
Yeah.
or I didn't know that's what they did.
Yep.
So it's vital in the sharing of information about
Mhm.
what's going on in our community. A lot
Yep.
of stuff can happen right under our nose that we
Yep.
don't realize is happening. So it's really powerful to watch those kind of things happen.
Yeah, those connections. And then also the idea of seeing like you said, they may think they know what an organization does, so they're like telling people, and then it's not really that maybe accurate. So but not meaning to be, but
Right.
it's one of those things where once you learn, you're like, oh wait, they do much more than I thought.
Yes.
And being able to then share that with community and pass that
Yes.
along, that accurate information, which is great too.
Absolutely.
As well. But yeah, that's awesome. So in your opinion, this is one like a hot seat question, not really, it's not. But in your opinion, what makes Ashtabula County like unique to work, to live, to grow? Like,
oh my gosh,
give me some ideas.
so much,
idea.
so much. I really do love it here. So a lot of people like to talk about our cost of living is low. Okay, that's a great benefit.
Yeah.
Our quality of people is high.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, it is the people that work here. It's the leaders in our community. It's the types of organizations we have. It's just the caliber of people and how we treat and interact with others and the hearts that people have. So I think it's one of the reasons that you have seen tourism continue to grow and do well here, because people, we have things that naturally occur here. The lake,
the lake wineries,
the work we've done with the parks, the attraction of wineries and covered bridges and in the businesses we have. But if people come here and they don't have the people behind them and the experiences that these wonderful people that we live around create, they don't want to come back. So I really feel that is our biggest asset is our people. It certainly is a place that I love living. When I travel, I talk it up. In fact, I've convinced random people I've met in other cities to come visit us, whether they even knew we existed here or not. So it's just a great place where you can envision your family being. And we're just so lucky with the things that occur here naturally. But I keep going back to it's the people.
Yeah. And I'm from a small town, and they're definitely a small knit group. Like originally I'm from a very small town, and the people are great though there. They always work to make the community strong and big and everything like that. But it just doesn't have the things that Ashtabula, where in my mind, when I moved here almost now like a decade ago, I'm like, you guys have so much, like there's a coffee shop and like it's almost like I don't have that in my super small town. I have to drive still like an hour to get those. At least you guys, I know Ashtabula is one of the biggest counties, but you still have something like that in each area of Ashtabula almost now at this point, and they're not just like, now we have Starbucks, which is great, and we're getting more, like fantastic, but I'd rather go to the small town coffee shops. That's like, for me, that's the type of environment I like. And then with like the new bookstore, Geneva, that bookstore there is so Lake Erie book. It's like my favorite place now, so knowing that these places can exist that in bigger cities sometimes don't always work out as well, because like maybe there is a Barnes and Noble or something, and they just can't work out as well, where with that place has been so big. So I feel like the community comes around places like that.
And those places that you're talking about, those are literally the backbone of our community. Those are the people and that's why I get juiced and love doing this, because those are the people I get to interact with. I like to tell people all the time when new businesses are coming along, my favorite thing is just meeting entrepreneurs and hearing their story and hearing their passion. And, that's the fun part of the job.
Yes. Yeah, I know. And that's the same, being a reporter in this way too, and getting to go talk to people, I feel like, and just learning their stories too, as well. But yeah, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share, like about where can people kind of learn more about membership, website, Facebook? You want to share some of that information?
Yeah. So our website is ashtabulachamber.net. We also have a Facebook page as well. Phone number here, if you needed to call, 440-998-6998. Certainly you can email us too. It's info@ashtabulachamber.com. Happy to talk to anybody about being part of our membership and part of what I think is a growing and thriving community here. And I also just want to make sure I add, I really appreciate the time that you came to, to talk to us and to help get the message out. I really appreciate the work that Gazette Newspapers does in telling quality stories and really focusing on the positive, because it is very easy for people to get caught up in the things that aren't going well. We need to remind ourselves there's a lot more things that are going really well than that aren't. And you do a really good job highlighting those special people in businesses and organizations, and we always appreciate the support when we're doing ribbon cuts that you're helping us get the story out to enhance these.
We got to thank our editor Stephanie for that one, and she's gonna hit a shout out, but she always makes sure picks stories too that we find and is always willing to like listen to if we are like, hey, this thing's happening in the community, could I write something? And that's for me, I love writing. Those are my favorite stories, to write when it's about, like you said, something where you're like, I'm not originally from this area, but also when I first lived, I lived in like Austinburg area. I didn't know much though about way out South
Sure,
County.
sure.
But some of those people are the biggest hearts and the way their stories and the things they want to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, but I really appreciate you just taking time since you do a million things, I'm sure, and you're very busy with different stuff. But I appreciate your time today, Greg. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But thank you, Ashtabula and Lake County. You got some great information today, so definitely check it out, the Chamber website, and see what events that are going on this summer as well. But we'll see you next time. Bye.
Take care.